to Bowl Game Radio.
They reverse it to Shipley. Now he's going to throw the ball to Ash at the 5, to the goal line. Touchdown, Texas. A little razzle-dazzle.
With Bruce Binkowski and Mark Neville.
Boots it downfield, got a receiver there. Caught at the 15, 10, 5. He scores.
Bowl Game Radio on San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
And thanks for tuning in for another episode of Bowl Game Radio here on the Mighty 1090, live from Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay. I'm Bruce Binkowski.
And I'm Mark Neville, and I know Bruce Binkowski's very excited to be here tonight because we're leading up to the big Moody Blues concert here coming up at 7:30, right?
The greatest rock and roll band of my generation.
Anyway, I'm Mark Neville, as I said. And San Diego's postseason college football bowl games, the National University Holiday Bowl, and the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl have a great story to tell. And with this season's Bowl Game Radio, we'll be providing insights on the behind-the-scenes activities relating to the presentation of San Diego's two bowls.
Now, tonight, we're going to be talking to Ted Tollner, who is going to be giving us our weekly look at who may be in the games.
The team selection update.
We also have a couple of other guests and one possibly very special guest joining us before 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes, and we will make our listeners wait for that one.
We will, because we'll make sure that he's available.
That's right. And also we're going to be joined by the commissioner from the Mid-American Conference, Dr. Steinbreaker. So that should be exciting too.
And again, we're broadcasting live from Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay, awaiting the Moody Blues concert.
But we're not all waiting for the Moody Blues concert.
I am. I have been to every Moody Blues concert. Since they've been in San Diego, every time since about 1986, every time they come into town, which is almost every year, you'll find me and a lot of my close friends right here at the Moody Blues concert. And that's why we're here tonight, because as soon as this show is over, I'm heading into Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay.
And I'm happy for you.
All right.
That's for sure. We'd love to hear from you as well. We'll be taking your calls. Telephone numbers are 858-457-1090. That's 858-457-1090. We'd love to take your calls, answer your questions, and talk about the topics that are on the table.
And a reminder, you can like us on each of our Facebook pages and follow us on Twitter at Poinsettia Bowl and at Holiday Bowl Game.
So, Bruce, let's launch into our first segment, and it's the team selection update. And joining us now, a man who needs no introduction, the coach, Ted Tollner. Ted, welcome to the program.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Bruce. Moody Blues, huh?
You bet. That's why we're here. I can hardly wait. Looking forward to it.
But Coach, are you a big Moody Blues fan?
I have to say no. I'm not that aware of them to be. I mean, not like Bruce is talking. I mean, he did a great job. I fall more into your category.
All right, I will tell you this, Coach, that this concert is sold out, and you have we couldn't get you a ticket even if you wanted one.
I will tell you, though, here at Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay, it is a beautiful setting. I'm sure it will be a great night.
Well, we have gone there a few times. Love it. Let's go with the football.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, let's talk a little football, and let's talk a little National University Holiday Bowl first, and the Pac-12 in particular. So right now, there are 3 teams in the Pac-12 that are in the BCS Top 25. 5 of the teams in the Pac-12 are getting votes in the USA Today poll. Bruce, right now, who do you think are the likely candidates for an invitation to our game?
Well, it hasn't changed from
first of all, who do we get?
Well, we'll get the second selection after the playoffs. So the team goes to the BCS, the next pick goes to the Alamo Bowl, and then to the National University Holiday Bowl. So if we're looking at potential teams, and then we mentioned this last week, and Coach Tollner, let's see if you and I are on the same page. We still think that Stanford's a long shot, but they could be in the picture. Oregon State is there. Arizona State is there. I think, to me, those are the top 3, and there are others like USC, UCLA's in the mix, and maybe Arizona, and maybe Washington could also sneak in. But my top 3 would be Arizona State, Oregon State, and possibly Stanford. Coach, what do you think?
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, and then you look at, there's a 6-2 Oregon State, a 7-1 Stanford, and Arizona State's at 5-2, and they got a lot of games to play. But when I look at the other schools you mentioned, Washington and USC, even though SC's got 5 and Washington 4, they have a schedule that's going to allow them to get to 8. I mean, they're going to have to play some good football. But I think there's going to be a number of schools that have a real chance, other than Oregon and even other than Stanford, to get to 8 wins.
Coach, Oregon State showed me something last week against Stanford. They did lose, but I thought defensively in particular they played really well. They did not have any really difficult wins leading up to that point. I didn't know how they were going to play against Stanford, and they got a tough schedule the rest of the way.
Oh, boy, do they.
Did they impress you?
They did very much so, and they have. And Mike Riley does a great job there, and they'd be a super team for us to have. But you look at that schedule of SC left, Arizona State, Washington, and Oregon. I mean, you look at that and say, can they win more than 2 to get to 8 or 9? They got a rough road. They have as rough a road left in the Pac-12 as anybody.
We're doing our team selection update, and this is for the National University Holiday Bowl. Joining us is Coach Ted Tollner, and if you don't know about Ted Tollner, he has coached just about everywhere in America. He's been the head coach at San Diego State, at USC. He coached with Lavelle Edwards at BYU. He's been in the National Football League, college football. He's had an amazing career in college football. So this is our resident expert. So, Coach, let's move over to the Big 12 conference, or do you want to leave, Mark?
Actually, I do have one more question for Coach Tollner. So, UCLA and Arizona State in the South, it seems like they have the easiest schedules left. While the Pac-12 is a great conference, and not any of those games are easy ones, but they seem to have the easier schedules. They are going to face each other on November 23rd at the Rose Bowl. Do you see, which of those teams do you think has the upper hand to win the South?
Well, when I look at right now, I think Arizona State. I mean, if you're looking at who their opponents are left, Arizona State obviously has to play UCLA, as we were talking about, and they've got Oregon State with a winning record, but they've got Washington State, Utah, and Arizona that are good, solid teams, but they don't have the record those other ones have. So I would say Arizona State. But UCLA, I mean, it could be either way. That's what makes it so great. I mean, you never know. That's one thing about being a resident expert that you call me. I can have opinions now, but I don't have to be accountable anymore. You used to have to be accountable for that stuff.
That is true. You're listening to Ted Tollner. I'm Bruce Binkowski along with Mark Neville. This is Bowl Game Radio every Wednesday night on the Mighty 1090 until December the 18th. And we're talking college football, but specifically San Diego's bowl games, the National University Holiday Bowl and the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Now, we've talked about the Pac-12 for the National University Holiday Bowl. Now let's talk Big 12. And again, and we'll discuss this over the next several weeks, but I think the key for our game is if one team goes up to the BCS out of the Big 12, then chances are we're going to get Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Texas, and maybe TCU. But if they go 2 up, then we don't know who we're going to get. So, Coach, if you were to guess today, who would be in the National University Holiday Bowl facing the team from the Pac-12?
Well, the 4 you mentioned, I mean, right now Baylor's undefeated. Oklahoma's at 7-1, Texas Tech at 7-1. It's Oklahoma State at 6-1, Texas 5-2. But the team I don't think will be in there is TCU. They're sitting at 3-5 right now with some tough games left. I mean, you still got to play Baylor, and I think they're going to have a more difficult time. So if I had to pick right now, I think it's going to come down to Texas and Oklahoma State.
Coach, do you think Baylor, they still got to play Oklahoma and Texas Tech, do you think they can survive that and win both of those games and go undefeated the rest of the way?
Well, you asked me last week or a week or so ago whether I thought, Texas Tech and Baylor could go undefeated, and I said, no, I don't. I think they'll both get beat before it's over, and Texas Tech, that's happened to them. Now, Baylor, Oklahoma this week, and then Baylor, Texas Tech the following week. And then Oklahoma State after that. So they got 3 teams that have 7-1, 7-1, 6-1 records. That's a grind. I don't think they can get through. If they do, they certainly deserve to be a contender in the BCS and maybe in the national championship picture.
National University Holiday Bowl, Monday night, December the 30th, Qualcomm Stadium, 7:15 kickoff. For tickets, go to holidaybowl.com. Now, let's move over to the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, which is Thursday, December the 26th at Qualcomm Stadium.
And what a game it was last week at Qualcomm Stadium with Fresno State and San Diego State. Fresno State, boy, if San Diego State had a little more luck with that last field goal kick there in regulation, we probably wouldn't be talking about Fresno State in the top 25 right now.
No, we wouldn't. And really, of course, I'm a little biased towards San Diego State more than a little. They played better than Fresno State. They whomped them for 3.5 quarters. I mean, they had Derek Carr running for his life. He couldn't complete a ball. They were covering him. I don't think I've been as sick for a loss and not be the coach as I was for San Diego State in that game, because the team and the staff did a great job, and yet now they're 3-4. But I mean, they played a great game against a very good Fresno team.
But, Coach, you got to agree, to get to the BCS, especially a Mountain West Conference or one of the non-top 5, and you know who I'm talking about, the Big 12, Pac-12, and those, you got to get lucky. And Fresno State, let's face it, got a little lucky and got the breaks that may get them to the BCS.
Well, I think it has an excellent chance. I mean, you look at who they have left. I mean, they're not playing the strongest schedule. They've got Nevada, Wyoming, New Mexico, San Jose. Now, again, there's some teams that can beat you, but on paper, at 7-0, they've got a chance to get to undefeated. I really believe that.
Yeah, likely their most difficult game remaining ahead before a bowl game would be their championship game, and they could be facing Boise State once again.
Yeah, that would be it, I think. In one sense, I hope they make it, because it's always great for the Mountain West Conference to have, if they can have somebody in that BCS, that's tremendous, and it doesn't hurt us that much. I mean, we're going to still get a quality team in our bowl game here in the San Diego Credit Union Bowl. So I actually am pulling for Fresno now that they got past San Diego.
There's a couple teams in the Mountain West that we have not talked about in a while about getting an invitation to play in our game, and those would be Colorado State and San Jose State. And people here in San Diego will know Ron Carragher, the head coach at San Jose State, was a USD for several years. Do you think San Jose State has what it takes to make it down here?
Well, they got 4 wins now, and they can certainly. They've got 5 ball games left at 4-3, and it's not an easy schedule because UNLV used to be a win, but UNLV's sitting there at 5-3, and San Diego State's a much better team than 3-4. So just these next 2 weeks is going to determine whether they stay in the hunt. After that, they still got 3 more with Nevada, Navy, and Fresno. So they've got a rough road to go. I believe they'll be bowl eligible, whether it's 6 or 7, I don't know. Colorado State the same way. I think they'll be bowl eligible, but is it going to be 6 or 7 wins? I think it's going to be hard for either one of them to get to 8.
So the Mountain West still wide open, and on the other side, again, we won't get into great detail. Army, if they're bowl eligible, would represent that school in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, and Army has to win their next 3, and if they lose any one of the next 3, they're out, and we're going to go in another direction. But that's where we are with the Poinsettia Bowl. Now, we're going to get to some coach speak now. Mark Neville has something that's been bothering him in college football for a long time.
Oh, this has been killing me.
So here we go.
So, Coach, play calling from the sidelines. You see lots of guys with the hand signals and everything, and then you'll see somebody hold up a sign with a picture of somebody. What are they doing?
Well, they are flashing signals into the game. Now, it's a different game, the college game and the pro game, where everything is by headset. But you see all that signaling going on. They're signaling formations. They're signaling what the play is, and everything's being called on the sideline by the coaching staff. And then normally the quarterback, once he gets it, he has a chance to change it and audibilize on the line.